so my honorable mentions. The big one, which I just watched yesterday, and when I say I just watched yesterday, I mean I watched episode
whole
1
thing,
to
yeah.
episode 10, whatever, however Netflix does it.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
this show
3 to 10.
This show is one season, and
One
it's all
season.
out.
Yeah, and so it's supposedly based on a true story. Here is the moment. Spoiler alert for the watcher. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing because I want Anthony to watch it, and I want you all to watch it if you're interested, but I am going to talk about it.
Oh, hello. Welcome on in. That's my brother.
Oh, hey.
I think, right? At work, can't really hear y'all, but wanted to say hi. Hello. Thank you for being here, and Merry Christmas. And I'll see you in 2 days, ? Who knows?
Yeah, thank you all for being here. But, okay. Spoiler alert for The Watcher. I'm going to give a brief synopsis. Like the back of a book.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to give you the whole thing.
Every time you say The Watcher, I think you're going to say The Watchman.
I thought the same thing. So when I heard, I don't know who was telling me how I found it. I just looked it up.
Tomorrow? Oh, you're right. Tomorrow. That's right. Yeah, tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
So, The Watcher, supposedly based on a true story. This couple buys a house. The husband, and they kind of give this away right off the bat, the husband has to go through some loops to get the finances to purchase this house. They purchase it, like, legally, but it's,
yeah,
he's hoping to make partner at his law firm. That's where he's like
National Lampoon's
yes!
Christmas Vacation.
Yes! Yes, waiting for the Christmas bonus check. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of when I. But
and what does Bill Murray's shithead brother give? He gives him like a lamp or some shit, or a coffee mug or whatever.
He gives him his fucking boss to give him his that's the whole third arc of the movie.
No, I know, but at first he doesn't get the Christmas bonus. He gives him like a thing.
I mean, in the first National Lampoon movie, he gives him the shoes that he's currently wearing because he thinks he'd like them.
Awesome.
So they get this house. Neighbors are kind of weird. But
weird how? Like
creepy.
A little oh, okay.
Like, so the way it starts is one of them's trimming like herbs in his yard.
Okay.
And he goes out and he's like, "Hey, what's the deal?" And she's like, "Oh, these used to be on that side, but they migrated over here." And he was like, "Oh, there's still some on that side." And she was like, "But they migrated over here." So I'm gonna, like, they're just getting into it. And her husband's just behind him peeling an apple with a knife,
Oh.
The funniest line, it's a comedian playing, I can't remember his name, but it's a comedian playing the husband. And he's like, what's the study of plants?
Herbology?
Yeah, he's just like...
Herbalism?
He's just like, that's just fucking herbalism. Basic herbalism.
Oh.
He's just sitting there eating the apple, and it's like, oh.
Oh, wait.
Yeah?
Oh, I've heard of this show. It's
Yeah.
the guy from Ant-Man. The new husband from Ant-Man.
Yes.
Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah, he does
and
a really
Naomi
good job.
Watts. My parents were watching this.
Oh my god, it was so good. So they get a letter in the mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's addressed to them, and the way they use in the show, like, because they're like reading the note and you hear a voiceover, but it's like electronic like voice. You don't know. There's no person's voice. It's creepy, but it's like, hello, new residents of so and so. I just wanted to welcome you into the neighborhood. They have 2 young kids, so the letter's like, I see you've brought young blood into the house. The house wants young blood.
Oh, Christ.
Keep in mind, this is based on a true story. So they're like, okay, that's fucking weird. They go immediately to the cops. That's another thing about this show. It always goes to the logical conclusion, which makes it even scarier when shit still hits the fan.
Okay.
They're like, okay, let's go to the police. This
I
is
see.
Crazy.
They don't make dumb horror movie
no, they go out of their way not to. So then they eventually, they know people have been in the house while they're there.
Okay.
They know somebody has been in the house. Stuff is going on. They're currently getting an alarm system put in. So they're talking to people and they're like, ghost? And they're like, no, don't be fucking stupid. Of course it's not ghost. But so it gets creepier. The notes get creepier. The notes start referring to their children by their names. There's one scene scares the shit out of me because the thought that this is based off a true story. The dude who did the camera system gets involved with their daughter.
Romantically?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so him and the dad.
Oh, so we're talking like a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old or something. You said they had
16
kids.
and
you
19.
said they had. Oh, okay. You said they had kids. I just assumed little tiny kids.
No,
and then
no,
you say
no.
a guy comes in to installs
sorry.
a. No, you're good.
Sorry. They have a. Well, the son is probably 12 or something.
Yeah.
But so the dude and the dad have a tiff, whatever. And so this guy sends out copies of something. He secretly hid a camera in their bedroom.
Oh.
After the dad they started having their tiff, and he sent a copy to his wife and a copy to his boss. And in the film, it's him sleeping, and this young woman just walks into the room and gets into bed with him and is touching his face and shit.
Oh.
And the guy who filmed it obviously thought that it was he was cheating on his wife with somebody. And the dude's just how the fuck did this person get into my house? I don't have a clue who that is.
Interesting.
I have never had this happen to me on a TV show before. But so you're obviously who did it? Is it the realtor? Because the realtor is a part of it. Is it the surveillance guy? Because he's kind of sketchy. Is it the neighbors? There's also another set of neighbors who are sketchy. And I've never done this before, but I guessed every single character on the TV show at one point or another as being the Watcher.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you meant you guessed everything right. You mean
no,
it had you all over the place.
I guessed every single person at one point as the Watcher. I was pegged to rights. I got you. You're the Watcher. And it's oh, but then they've got a bit of an alibi. And by the end of the show, do you not want me to tell you this part?
No, I think I've gotten enough recommendations of this that I'll probably end up watching it eventually.
Oh my god. Every episode that ended. Also, another thing. He's not the first owner of that house to receive letters from the Watcher.
Okay.
The last 3 people to own the house received letters from the Watcher. The Watcher made the last one sell the house. Requested that they sell the house, and they did.
It's very interesting. It sounds like a. It sounds like a I was gonna say it sounds like a mixture of a bunch of things. It's got a little, not joking. It's got a little National Lampoon. It's got a little Paranormal Activity, but it's also got a little Scream. But it's also got a little Big Brother's watching type thing. But it's
also got a cult aspect.
But
I didn't even tell you that.
But it's also, you say, based on a true story. I'm wondering how much of it, how.
I know.
I'd be
I'm gonna look up the case that it's based off of, but he even meets up with the guy who used to own the house in the late. And this is recent, by the way. The guy who used to own the house sold it in 2014. So, whatever this is happened recently.
Yeah.
But he was convinced that the neighbors were in a blood cult. They literally sucked the blood out of young children to make themselves
That was
younger.
His theory.
Yeah, because he was my 2-year-old said this was creepy as fuck too. He was one night my 2-year-old son, I was out at work, his wife was a drunk or something, so she wasn't really paying attention. He's my 2-year-old went downstairs. By the way, keep in mind the 2-year-old explained this story to his father.
Oh.
He said he went downstairs and he saw all the neighbors in red robes in their living room.
Oh.
There was an altar in the center with a newborn with its throat slit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. 2-year-old gave him that story.
2-year-olds can talk, apparently, I'm learning in this moment.
I guess. And they can give you elaborate, horrific nightmares.
Yeah.
But it was bananas. And I was in the middle of writing a lot of shit for school. And I did not stop watching this show. And I did not do schoolwork. I paid attention to this show.
Yeah, you were telling me that you watched this whole show in one day.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've ever done that to a full season of television?
Probably not.
Because I know I've done it a couple times, but it is a rare, because it's a whole day.
It
you
might
know?
be. It might be the first time I've done that and actively been like, okay, I'm not. I have to do other
Yeah,
things.
it wasn't
this.
the plan to do
Yeah.
that, but yeah.
I every single episode because I watched one episode by myself. Immediately went upstairs and was like, Dad, have you seen this fucking show? And he was like, yeah, but I'll watch it again because it was really awesome. And I was like, all right, let's watch it. And I was like, I'm only gonna watch like one though. And then that ended, and I was like, all right, we're gonna watch one more. So I watched the whole thing. I just couldn't get over it.
Shows like that are awesome, dude. Oh, what's this? Oh, good.
Oh,
Yes. We got references to things that I can only assume me and Ethan get, and that's it.
but that is my now that I've wasted like 20 minutes, that is my honorable mention. More of a pedestaled mention, 'cause I talked about it too much. But if you watch it and you like it, I suggest we do an episode on it 'cause holy shit, I want your theories.
Okay.
It's Zodiac. It was just like Zodiac.
How so? Like keeping you on the edge of your seat? Okay.
Yes, the mystery, the keeping you. Oh my god, the thrill aspect.
But also, I have a feeling that it's got because you said the word mystery. That's also what the internet genrefied this as. But I can only imagine that, like Zodiac, which also is a mystery movie, has a lot of elements of like, oh, this is genuinely scary.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. And I'm actually keeping some of the best details aside.
Yeah.
Because,
no, I appreciate that.
Like, there's things that, like, I could tell you and they're not spoilers because it doesn't matter that much. But, like,
It's
when
fun
you
to,
find
yeah.
out, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, my God.
Cool. Anything else real quick before moving on to...
I don't want to give anything else away. It's
No, I mean
really
about
good.
any other
Oh,
shows. Or...
I mean, I watched one. Like I said, I watched Wednesday, but we'll
We'll
keep
we'll
that conversation
do a whole
aside.
Wednesday podcast because my Christ.
Yeah, no, that was really
Wednesday.
good.
It just crested into the top 10 watch shows on
Oh,
Netflix
that's
of all
cool.
time. It just hit another milestone. It hit like 100 million watches or some shit like
Wow.
that. It's just like
When are Thunder and Lightning gonna do the TikTok dance?
the TikTok dance.
Everybody's doing their dance from the prom.
Oh, of course they are. We can't just have it be a cool scene that we all saw once. We have to make it a meme because everything needs a meme. I'm sure Tim Burton, that was his point when he wrote that scene. Yeah, his vision was so there's an app called TikTok.
But anyways, no, I am good. Let's get to the first film, and then we'll get to the next honorable mention.
Okay. We're talking about, are you even on TikTok? No, I'm not. I don't think I'm missing out on much. We're going to be talking about Netflix presents Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is a movie that you recommended to me explicitly because you wanted to do a podcast on it. So I watched it. I think I watched it pretty quickly after you recommended it. So I probably would have saw this at some point, but I definitely wasn't like, oh, Pinocchio's out, gotta go watch it, you know? I loved it so much.
Yeah.
It was so...
It's my favorite Pinocchio.
I mean, there's yeah. But no shit, dude. Yeah. I liked it so much that the second it was over, I started watching the half-hour making-of documentary on Netflix.
I still need to see that. I'm sure that's fantastic.
16 years it took him to make this movie.
Are you shitting me?
Oh, yeah.
That's something this dude would do, though.
The stop animation took 2.5 years, and most of it was done during the pandemic. But the whole movie itself has been in production for 16 whole years.
It's honestly a masterpiece.
Sorry, you were gonna say it's amazing, and you were just like I thought you were gonna be like it's a me Mario.
It's a me Mario.
No, it was really great. I can't believe it's rated PG. Given all the stuff that happens in it, given like the murder and the explosion deaths and the drunkenness, and all that.
The drunkenness is what got me. I was like, oh, never thought Geppetto had it in him.
No, but I think it's watching the documentary. Because you know me, I drink alcohol now, but I'm still the kind of person who's like, you don't need to do it. It's but I'm really glad they included that because it gives purpose to Pinocchio's design. If you noticed,
Oh
Pinocchio
yeah,
only
yeah.
has one ear because Geppetto literally didn't finish him
Yeah.
because he was drunk and he was like, I'll finish him in the morning. And then the Blue Fairy, to use Disney terms,
Right.
turns it to life, and he's like, well, it's. Oh, I really also love. I'm just gonna like list all the things
Sure.
I love. I love that. So you told me this, which actually made me a little more excited to watch it. Because like I said, I wasn't not excited to watch it. I was just
Yeah.
like, I was just like, I'll watch it eventually. So when it came time to watch it, I was like, I might as well put this on. But what made me a little more excited is when comparing it to the Disney Pinocchio that recently released, that we also did a podcast on. You and I, our biggest complaint, we actually really like that movie, but
Yeah.
our biggest complaint was that his nose like didn't play a factor into the movie at all.
I've been dying to talk about that.
I fucking love. Not only
Yeah.
does the nose matter, it grows in a cool way.
Yes.
but
yeah.
it doesn't go back down.
Yep.
He has to
Yeah,
shave
yeah.
it down. He has to
Yeah.
literally cut the nose down.
No, I thought that was so. You can feel this movie took a long time because I guarantee you they thought on that for like weeks. Like how? Okay, what do we do with the nose?
Right.
The nose is a thing. We have to make the nose a thing.
Right.
But they also like foreshadowed the nose.
Yes.
They gave it and they gave it purpose in the storytelling. The nose saves them.
Yes.
Which it doesn't fucking happen apparently. I don't remember the 40s Pinocchio, but I can only imagine the nose plays as little a role in that as it did in the new live action one.
I seem to remember. Maybe I'm getting this confused because
Mhm.
there's been a lot of like Pinocchio. Like Pinocchio was in House of Mouse. He was in Kingdom Hearts. So
Yeah.
who knows what I'm remembering? But I remember there was a similar thing in the 40s Pinocchio to the Disney one where he needed to use his nose to get himself out of that cage.
Sure.
That stayed true. But then I think what happens with the nose in the original Pinocchio film that made by Disney was that there's a couple scenes where he's lying and you're like, like it's just used as a lesson learning tool, like for little kids watching.
You know what? As a story creator, to me, it really feels like Disney got to the point where he's locked in the cage and they're like, I don't know. How's he getting out of the cage? I don't know. What if we made some bullshit about it? Go back, add a few scenes, throw them in. They're still, storyboarding and shit. They're like, just throw in some bullshit about a nose.
You think the nose is a Disney retcon?
No. It could be from the original. I just think they might have even thought about doing away with it, but then they get to the cage and they're like,
so you're putting a lot of, and I don't mind that you're doing this. You're putting a lot of discredit on the writers.
They
of
did
the
a
original
shitty job. Well, no, actually, I'm giving discredit to the 2022 the live action, but it's based off the 40s
Well,
one.
yeah.
So I'm giving a lot of shit to the new one, but also assuming that it's true to the 40s one, which I haven't seen in like 15 years. I'm going to assume that yes, that one also. Yeah, sure. I'm giving that one shit via the new one.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes at us and they're like, "Well, actually, the nose had a lot of then sure, okay. But the new one did a bad job. They did not do enough with the nose. I was just sitting there and I was like, the nose's purpose was this scene. It just it just stood out so poor, like his fucking nose and his head. It stood out like his nose shot out 3 feet.
No, but this one in Netflix presents Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. He
just sewed it like fine silk.
They utilize the nose in like every way you can. Like they do use it as a well, you can't lie, son. But they also use it like as like a symbolic thing. But they also use it as if fucking lie right now or we're gonna die because your nose is a giant tree. And then I was like, how's Pinocchio get out? He was just like,
yeah. I was also like, I didn't know if they were gonna like.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. While we're talking about that scene, I want to I would very much like to compare Monstros between the three because in the original movie, she's looking to get down.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. In the original movie, Monstro is just a whale.
Yeah.
He's basically just a a whale. I think he's a beluga whale specifically, which are usually non-violent, but this one's like a big giant cursed monster with human teeth. And then in the new Disney one, he's more like sea serpent-y. Like he's clearly whale-ish, but he's got like tentacles and like too many teeth and all this stuff.
Yeah.
In this one, he's this is like the most like far out design, but also like somehow weirdly the most book accurate. Like the book really doesn't do a good job explaining Monstro. They basically explained it as like a giant mutant catfish. But this one looked like it was made out of metal at first, and I was like, oh, is it just a machine? But you get closer, you're like, oh no, they're actually and he had like multiple blowholes, but they were like uneven. Like it wasn't like two here. It was like one here and one over here. And that's how they escaped, through one of these disgusting blowholes. I don't necessarily know, like, I'm not here to say like, and this one looks better than this one. It's just like 3 different interpretations.
Oh yeah.
By 3 different studios. Obviously it's both Disney, but obviously no one making the new Pinocchio made the old one. It's just so interesting to me because you have to, but at the same time, I don't know, because Guillermo del Toro's making this movie for a long fucking time, right? And even if he doesn't know about Tom Hanks' Pinocchio movie,
well, it probably didn't, because he
probably
started making this
yeah.
like a decade before they even thought of that one.
You gotta be, if you're Guillermo del Toro, you gotta be thinking like, one, I'm Guillermo del Toro and I have a specific way I design things to look. But 2, the most famous Pinocchio thing ever, I cannot have my Monstro look like that.
Do you think, sorry, little tangent,
No,
little
go
off
for it.
course. Do you think Disney, because it did take him almost 2 decades to make this film, gets word he's making this film and they're like, well, your Pinocchio's not going to out-Pinocchio our Pinocchio. Fuck you. Get in the live-action bullshit, Pinocchio.
That definitely sounds like some scummy shit that modern-day Disney would do, where they're like, well, hold on. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is actually finally coming out. Well, we're going to do a live-action version of everything. We'll just push our Pinocchio to 2022.
Because that's just too much of a coincidence, right? Especially if they've had a decade at least to prep for this.
The other 2 are coincidences, and I don't give a shit about them because they barely made news.
Sure.
The other 2 Pinocchio movies. But these 2 can't be a coincidence. It's got to be Guillermo's getting Netflix acquired Guillermo's Pinocchio.
Yeah.
They're fucking making it. Let's do ours. Get Hanks on the line. Get Levitt on the line. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Sorry, I just had
there's a lot to talk about.
Whiplash talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Jiminy Cricket. The fucking voice cast in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was insane.
Good. Yeah.
You got Ewan McGregor as what was his name? His name was
it wasn't Jiminy Cricket.
No, but his middle name was Jay, which you got to think that it's someone.
Of course.
His name was I forget his first name was like a long name like
Guillermo.
No, it was I forget. Sebastian.
Yeah,
it was Sebastian J. Crickets was his name, and I really liked that because they didn't explain this in the documentary, but Guillermo del Toro was just like, "Oh, I thought that name sounded so professional and exquisite, and it's a little tiny bug, and I like the juxtaposition." And I was like, but then I was like, acting as the interviewer, that I was like, but the J was intentional, right? But yeah, David Bradley, the guy who played Filch in Harry Potter, was Geppetto, and I think he did a great job. The Pinocchio was played by someone new. The main villain was played by Christoph Waltz. That main villain, by the way, watching the documentary, I know this, was not supposed to be the main villain. When they're at the circus, there's like a big, huge guy with a big, huge black beard.
Okay.
That was supposed to be the main villain. And then Guillermo was looking at all the designs, and he was like...
Do you mean the Nazi?
No. When they're at the circus, there's like a background character that doesn't matter and barely has any lines.
Are you talking about... who do you consider the main villain?
Oh, sorry. The red-haired guy with the monkey.
Okay. Sure. That makes sense. to me, I feel like there's two main villains. There's him and there's the Nazi. I feel
True,
like
yeah.
I feel like it's you could even say 3. Act 1, redheaded guy. Act 2, the Nazi. Act 3, Monstro.
Okay, yeah, because that is something that this movie has in common with the other Pinocchio. There's a lot of villains.
Yeah.
But
I hear what you're saying.
the circus villain.
Yeah.
There's like a background character who's like this big, huge guy with a big black beard. That was supposed to be the circus villain.
Interesting.
And like basically last minute, people from a production get a note from Guillermo. They're like, actually, I want this dude, like this design, this character to be the main villain. And they're like, okay. And they were basically like, so we designed this puppet, this clay model, and then never used it. So we just put him in the background. So we have this like super overly designed person in the background. But yeah, Tilda Swinton as Death. The monkey, I don't know if you know this, the monkey was voiced by Cate Blanchett, the woman who played the woman in the woods in Lord of the Rings, and Hela from Thor Ragnarok. She was the monkey.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other thing I didn't know about this movie, and maybe I'm dumb, but I didn't realize it was a musical.
Okay.
So the movie starts, and it starts with the real kid. I forget his name.
Oh, I don't remember either.
But the real kid that
Yeah,
dies, how that they actively don't explain in Disney's Pinocchio.
Oh, I know. I love the. Oh my God! Can I talk about that for a second?
Yeah, sure.
The backstory adds so much to Geppetto.
Yeah.
Geppetto is so much more interesting.
You don't give a shit about Geppetto in Disney's Pinocchio.
No, because you don't need.
By the way, do you like that this is for some reason Disney's Pinocchio? I just keep like.
So it's something over there.
Yeah.
Well, they own Spider-Man, so maybe that's. But actually, they don't. That's.
They actually don't.
We don't
right.
need to talk about that.
Good point.
But there's just so much. I love the time period. It's similar to Disney's, give or take 20 years.
Yeah.
But they set it up. That dude fucking loves World War II.
Who? Guillermo del Toro?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I'm so glad he said it there because it makes so much sense. Why his son's dead? Why is his son dead?
Right.
Because of that.
Yeah.
The stupor that he falls into, his distaste for Pinocchio, because who wouldn't at first?
His complete refusal to finish the last job that he lost his son on, the decline into alcoholism.
Oh my
accidentally,
God!
Well, before he accidentally makes a new weird magic son.
It's so much detail on a character. They spent the first 35-40 minutes just feeding us Geppetto information.
Yeah. No,
and
that was great.
I remember turning on this movie and it was 2 hours and some change, and I was like,
really?
Yeah. I was really? Okay.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The Disney Pinocchio movie is a solid
hour and 20 minutes. Or something.
Yeah, a solid 90 minutes and we're out. It's just is legally a movie. When compared to length. But no, so the movie starts, right? And you get all the backstory about the original kid. And then Geppetto starts singing a song. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really David Bradley singing. That's really neat. And I don't mind this song. And then Pinocchio is born. And then he immediately starts singing. And it's when you hit the second song that I was like, oh, it's a musical. Yeah. And I didn't expect that. And normally because I love musicals, right? I'll watch a fucking good musical any day. But when you don't expect something to be a musical, it's like taking a sip of something you think is something else.
Sure.
It I just didn't expect it to be music, but I really liked the music. Even as I was having the thought oh, it's a musical, I was thinking oh, this is a really good song and I like it.
Can we take a step even further back? Talk about what balls it takes to make a musical out of Pinocchio after Disney banked their logo off of When You Wish Upon a Star. And they put I was sitting there you put a song right here
Yeah.
at this moment of the film, you thought it, and it was a good song.
It was,
and
yeah.
I didn't even think about When You Wish Upon a Star. I was just enjoying
Right.
that song. I was like, kudos to the composer. Kudos to I always butcher his name, Guillermo. I just get it out there. I just say it as fast
You
as I
said it
can.
perfect just then.
Cool. But for having the balls, that takes balls.
Mm.
I'm doing Pinocchio, and it's gonna be like realistic. Fuck we don't get that out of here.
But even
everybody's gonna compare it. I
Right.
haven't heard anybody be like,
No.
why'd they make it a
No,
musical?
no, it's because they executed it perfectly. When you're watching this movie, you are not thinking, "Oh, well, when I was watching the..." No, fuck that. He literally he did everything that no one else would do. He's like, "I'm gonna make a animated Pinocchio movie. It's gonna be a musical, and it's gonna be for children."
Yeah.
And that describes literally everything that Disney did twice.
And this couldn't be further from those.
The only time I was reminded of the Disney Pinocchio is when I saw Monstro, because I love Monstro.
Yeah.
And I saw Monstro, and I was like ready to visually compare them in my mind. I was like waiting to see his design. That's the only time I was thinking about that. Literally the rest of the movie, you just because you watch Pinocchio and then you watch or maybe you don't, but you watch the new one. You just have Disney has saturated the Pinocchio story to their story so much so that the new movie is almost like a scene for scene recreation of the old one, and you really get attached to the songs and the characters. For example, something I didn't think about until I was thinking about this movie a couple days later. There's not a fox and cat person at all in this movie.
And you know what? I kind of appreciate it. Cut the middleman. There's no need for those two characters.
Right. No, of course. But those are iconic.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Every time someone does Pinocchio, they're like, all right, how are we going to do the fucking anthropomorphic fox with the weird mute cat? And they just didn't. They
kind of turned the big guy from the circus in the chimp into one in the same.
I could tell that he was doing that. They really took Stromboli and the fox character and sort of made them one character.
Yeah.
Because why not at that point?
Right.
Why do you need singing fox dude with a sidekick of his own to be the person who brings Pinocchio?
Are we good with frames?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Why do we need that character to bring Pinocchio to the circus guy?
Right,
and then
when
we
he
don't,
could just
and then we barely spend any time with the circus villain.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just make the circus villain this huge scene-stealing villain?
First act villain.
Right.
Because that's the thing. Pinocchio's too saturated with villains, the Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, don't really need those two. Make him Stromboli.
Yeah, Stromboli. That's his name, right?
No, I believe it. Silly name.
Yeah. Named after a food.
But
and then so if you haven't seen this movie, then Pinocchio's drafted into the military.
Not only is he drafted into the military, he's drafted into Nazi Germany military, occupied Italy.
Right.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Because the Mussolini fucking showed up in this movie.
Yes, and he's voiced by SpongeBob SquarePants.
Good. So it's not Nazi. I mean, it is Nazis, but it's Italy's.
They
do
the
Gucci
thing
Nazi.
you're not supposed to do in the movie. They Heil Hitler in this movie.
They always make a joke out of it too.
Yes, they do.
Which I thought was funny.
I appreciated. Because that's what I like about this movie. It was definitely a movie that kids could watch, but it's also a thing where it's they're heiling Hitler, but that's because that's what those characters would be doing in this scene. Whether it's played off for a joke or not, they did the damn thing.
Right. And I want to make another comparison here too. In Disney's film, you have the fucking
the Fantasy Island. Yeah,
Fantasy
I was
Island.
Just after you were done what you're saying right now, I was gonna be like,
Yeah.
did you see the
absolutely.
the similarities between,
as opposed to turning into donkeys, you get turned into fascists.
Exactly. No, and then he literally goes to an
island,
an island full of boys.
Yeah.
And but then instead of drinking root beer and turning into a donkey. He is drafted into the military and is training in real combat scenarios. Then he escapes the island.
Makes me wonder if that was Disney's gentrification, and maybe it was originally something to that effect. And Disney was like, well, we can't have, because the Fantasy Island is so fucking. It was just. It was time filler, is what it felt like for that film.
It felt like time filler in the original.
Yeah.
In the new one, I would argue that the original executed it a little bit better. But you're right. You're exactly right. It's complete time filler. It's like what Pinocchio. This has been the case for. There's always been the case for me with the new one and the old one. Pinocchio feels like a 4-episode TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like episode 1 he's built, episode 2 he's captured, episode 3 he's captured, episode 4 he's eaten.
Right.
And then you get a nice little round. And this movie had the fucking balls to kill Geppetto of old age at the end of the movie.
Okay. I was going to hold off, but now that we're talking about it, let's talk about it. The number 1 issue, Disney's Pinocchio, ends 5 minutes too early.
Yes.
This film, I thought was going to do the same exact thing. But then they were like, no, we'll tell you the rest of Geppetto's life.
You think it's going to stop, and then it goes for like 11 more minutes. And then there's a during the credits song.
Yes.
Jiminy finally gets to sing his song that they've been joking the whole movie. Which was really cool because Ewan McGregor is a good singer.
Right.
He trained with a voice coach for Moulin Rouge, and he has kept his singing prowess through Beauty and the Beast, where he played Lumiere, into this Geppetto movie, where he got to play a author cricket.
No, I thought they gave me what I needed out of Pinocchio, which was closure.
Yes, exactly. And that's crazy that you just said you received closure, because this Pinocchio does not turn into a real boy.
No.
He literally, like, the end of the movie is, well, you're made of wood, so you're never going to die, but everyone else around you is going to die.
It's not even that you're never going to die. You will never, it's really you'll never come to the afterlife, because something we haven't talked about yet, which we can get into. I still want to talk about the end of the
coolest,
movie.
most unique part of the movie
is Pinocchio dies like 11 times.
Yeah.
And he goes to the afterlife, and they're like, well, you're not fucking real, so we're going to wait here till the timer runs out.
Yeah.
Each time you die, timer's going to get bigger.
It's like a fucking respawn in a MOBA. It blows my mind. I wonder if someone who has no idea like that's a mechanic in video games came up with that idea. And
I know, right?
That's so cool. And I'm like, I'm right there with you, man. It is cool, but like that does exist in a very practical way in a different medium.
I love it so much.
No, I love it too.
Everybody, it was so Guillermo del Toro to kill off every character.
Yeah.
Except Pinocchio.
This movie had a lot of This movie had a lot of sad moments.
Yeah.
I didn't cry at all until he's walking up to Geppetto's grave, and all of a sudden he's walking up to 2 graves because the monkey also died.
Yeah.
Because the walk up to the graveyard was like a time transition between seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like the son dies, we have a big Astro Boy, like real son is dead, make a new kid. Which, watching that whole sequence, I think maybe the Astro Boy might be loosely based off Pinocchio, at least in its first couple chapters, and I never quite got that.
Sure.
Until this watch through of this Pinocchio movie. Excuse me. But no, that's all sad, but I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I was kind of like riding the emotions of the movie, and then it picks up because then Pinocchio is born, and you kind of know that Pinocchio is going to be born while you're watching the real son die. And then right at the end, it gets you. It's like, we all die. Except Pinocchio.
Who shall live forever. Who is a demigod.
Hello, welcome
hello,
on
Toga.
in.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us.
We are talking about Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, so you might want to mute us because I know you guys haven't seen it yet.
We will be switching over, probably because I still have a few more things to talk about. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. We'll switch over to
Bullet Train, which is a movie that you have seen because I watched it with you. I got right in there before Netflix bought it.
Oh, I know, right?
I rented it for $2.99.
Because Mason sent me it, and I was gonna watch it, and then I go on Netflix, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
the most metal meet emo thing that could have ever happened in Pinocchio. Fucking Sebastian Jiminy Cricket
Yeah.
dies.
Yes.
And Pinocchio's like, I'm just gonna put him in this box and keep him in my
Yes, dude.
heart. And I was like, damn, he went there.
And this movie, it got to that part where, because Jiminy, Sebastian J. Cricket is narrating the entire thing, right? And he dies, and then the narration continues, and then Sebastian's like, and then I died, and then Pinocchio put me in his fucking heart, and then all this stuff happened after I died. I was like,
how do you know?
oh,
How do
this
you know?
narration has been bullshit this
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
time, and
yeah.
I hate it now? And then you get to the end, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, he's dead, and he's in limbo playing cards with the skeleton things.
I felt the exact same way. Once he died, I was like, oh, it went from it was here the whole time, and now it's just dipped to like here.
Yeah, it's like I still really like Ewan McGregor's performance. The narration has been cool. I love when things do this. You and I off stream are just shitting on Riverdale a little bit, but I love that it does this. The narrator is a writer who's writing a story about the events.
Yeah.
And I love when media does that. But then I was like, oh, it's not as cool as I thought it was. It's still cool, I guess, because Ewan McGregor played a really cool Jiminy Cricket. And then you're like, oh, never mind. And
the
then,
afterlife exists in this Pinocchio.
right, and I totally forgot about that again until this moment. And then I love that when he finally gets to sing his song about his dad or whatever, I forget what they are. They're like skeleton goat people, right? The people he's playing cards with, the people who carry you to heaven or hell or whatever. They react like everyone else reacted whenever he was trying to start singing, but they let him sing this time. They were just like, okay, whatever, man. It might as well happen. Jump on the table. We were playing cards, but whatever.
There's speaking on Sebastian Jiminy Cricket.
People are gonna look at his social security number now. You keep saying his whole name.
Another detail about this film that once again, I mean let's put it this way. The guy had like fucking 80 years to top Disney's Pinocchio.
Right.
But
yeah, we all know Guillermo del Toro was born in the 1820s.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's been around his whole life. He had enough time to make these tweaks, but he did them.
But
and
that's
what
the
counts.
thing. I don't think that his intention was, lol, Disney sucks, I'm going to make a better one.
No.
I think he really grew up on this book, and he was like, how would I do
Yeah.
it? Now that everyone knows how I fuck around with movies, how would I make this?
Essentially, we got to question the ferrymen.
Oh, basically, yeah. They're just like these weird...
They're also, by the way, they're from the original Pinocchio tale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, they were like these 4 like skeletal creatures that literally carry you in a coffin and put you on like a wall, and then like the wall decides where you go. But Pinocchio, because he's not real, he gets to like come out of the coffin and be like, what's up, Limbo? I'm going to go talk to the devil. And the devil is Tilda Swinton, but she's a giant space being.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Did you get the, like, I know that was supposed to be the afterlife, but I got big, like, this thing came from space vibes. Or maybe maybe this scene takes place in space or something like that.
They went for a very astrological, whatever it is, afterlife.
Yes.
Which Soul kind of does.
But it's so interesting that they chose to do that, because the first like half hour, 45 minutes of this movie, it takes place at a church, like a Catholic church.
I know. I really like every detail about this movie.
Yeah, me too.
But I want to get back to Jiminy Cricket.
Oh yeah, sorry.
There, the purpose behind he does not want to help. He has no desire to help Pinocchio.
Oh
as
yeah,
he shouldn't.
Completely different motives from Jiminy S. Cricket from Pinocchio, from Disney's Pinocchio.
And I really appreciated that. It was just so refreshing. It gave me Watcher vibes when I was saying like they made all the right choices.
Oh right, no, yeah.
Like Geppetto reacted the way he should have reacted in this one.
Yeah.
Sebastian J. Jiminy Cricket reacted the way he should have. You're a fucking god. This wooden object I don't want to be in control of.
Right.
But she prompts him with something, and I cannot remember what it was. But he actually had a bit more purpose. to follow Pinocchio, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I also can't remember what it was, so I apologize. But no, I do like it's just when characters, and I'm sure this is true of The Watcher as well, when characters make relatable decisions, it makes the thing you're watching better. Because, like, when you talk about The Watcher, like, it sounds like the character, because I have not seen it, but I'm going to speak on it as if I have. The characters in The Watcher make the decisions that you or I would make if we were in that situation, but they still get, like, fucked with from this murder mystery thing that's happening. In Pinocchio, the characters like Geppetto and Sebastian and these characters make the decisions that we would make if we were in their shoes. Like, I also, if I was old and settling down to write my greatest novel ever, would also not like to babysit a puppet,
right?
An immortal puppet. Right. So when he's like, because he's not just an asshole, right? Because that'd be an entirely different decision. It's not just like, nah, fuck you, fuck this puppet. He's just like, I'm busy and dying, and I don't want to be doing this right now. And it's like, I've obviously never been a dying man writing a book, but like it was just,
cricket.
It was right, true. It was just so relatable. Of like, yeah, I get it. I also wouldn't want to watch Pinocchio.
I think we should start wrapping up, but I think this one would be tough to beat, and I think it easily
by what standards? By like a different Pinocchio story? Oh yeah,
when the 8th Pinocchio in the last 4 years comes out.
Well, you haven't watched Pinocchio: The True Story yet. Pinocchio is voiced by Pauly Shore in that one, so put your money where your mouth is.
Are you shitting me?
No, I'm not shitting you at all.
Oh, I will stay away. That's the dude from Jersey Shore. Oh no,
Jersey
Pauly
Shore.
Shore is
No,
the dude
Pauly
from
Shore.
The 80s, right?
Yeah,
he's
Pauly
in the Goofy movie.
Yes, yeah, Leaning Tower of Pisa.
No.
Pauly Shore was in Encino Man.
Oh yeah,
and,
no.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I got it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, now I want to watch it, but I'm not. I don't want to watch it because like that.
You should look up the trailer.
I'll
because
check it out.
You hear the voice and you're like, "That's Pauly Shore? Did he forget how to fucking talk? Like, what is wrong with him?"
Oh no.
He sounds like so. No, it's just like
it doesn't sound like him. Is that what you're trying
to say?
No.
I'm saying he like is acting bad.
Oh.
He like I know Pauly Shore. I grew up with his voice. I'm sure you did too, to a certain extent. He sounds like a middle schooler reading lines for the first time in a play. He sounds fucking terrible.
Oh,
it's baffling how bad this seasoned, aged Hollywood actor is doing in that. It seems like in that movie.
Wow. Well, all right. I'll check out the trailer. But
we're talking like so bad. I don't even know if he knew how close to stand to a microphone. Bad. Like it was terrible. He must have done these lines from his home during quarantine.
That could have been the
on
case.
Quaaludes. Like it does not sound like
that
correct.
Sounds like Pauly Shore. I actually, before we stop.
Yeah, before we change gears, go over to Bullet Train.
Well, before we do that.
Yeah.
Did Jackass do a review of the original Pinocchio?
Jackass?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say Edgar Allan Poe. Do not compare these two. The fucking he wrote a review. Then he wrote
Roger Ebert?
Roger Ebert.
Oh.
Thank God
Okay,
I haven't thought about him in so long that I forgot
You
his name.
understand that when you said Jackass, I thought you meant Johnny Knoxville, right?
No, it makes sense.
What did you want to know if you saw
the original Pinocchio?
Oh, we've already talked about him doing that when we did Disney's Pinocchio.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh God.
Oh Christ. Didn't need an Ebert jump scare.
Look at how creepy he looks on the. He kind of looks like. I actually kind of looks like Michael Caine. Yeah, he's weird to look at. Yeah, no, fuck that dude. We'll do one in the next hour. But yeah, that is our episode on Pinocchio. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcasts, video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.